Hello, everyone. Welcome to the highly anticipated, most popular show on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel with the three people that listen. Um, Nobody's
Up to
listening.
three? Up
We're up
to
to three.
three?
We're
That's
up
a
to three.
300% increase.
Here. I'm gonna get a little inside baseball here to our
Ooh.
listeners here. Let me type in nobody here. I,
No.
I have Outpost
No.
Unknown open right now, so I'm gonna just kind of look and see how many listens our stuff is actually getting. Rachel, you're here. Go ahead and introduce yourself while I look this
Hey
up.
everybody, I'm Rachel, the other half of this, the one that always makes us tardy. I'm so excited to talk about this episode because lots of Bo-Katan being lots of ladies being badasses in this episode, and one of the best fan service cameos? Question mark.
We're in the dozens. I'll say that. We're in the
Ooh.
dozens of likes,
Ooh.
listens, and things. So
Listen, you got to start somewhere, right?
at some point we got to change the name to Somebody's Listening.
Right.
All right. So when we blow up, when we get that Dave
Yeah.
Filoni exclusive interview.
I'm into it. I think
All
we
right.
should try.
So, we are going to talk tonight about Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5, Arr, the Pirates.
Were you so excited when you saw this title? Because I know, if there's one thing I know about Matthew, it's that he loves him a pirate.
Love pirates. Love pirates to death. There's a really cool show on Netflix. God, what's it called? It's like a documentary, but what do you call it? Off the top of my head, I can't think of it. It's like a documentary, but they do sort of like reenactments throughout the whole thing.
Oh, I don't know what that's
Oh
called.
man, it's really cool though. It's a
Called
really
like
cool.
Good Day in History Class. That's what that is called. So you get one of
Yes.
those.
There's Lost Pirate Kingdom. The Lost Pirate Kingdom. I
Ooh.
highly recommend anybody out there go check it. I think it's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 episodes. It goes through the entire Pirates of the Caribbean, the history of all the
Ooh.
crazy pirates. And Charles Vane is one of them highlighted in this show. So Lost Pirate Kingdom,
Really?
Lost Pirate Kingdom on Netflix. And also, if you really love pirates, you should watch Black Sails.
I was just going to say, I got hooked on that show. I fell off, but the first season of that show was great.
So good, so good.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get. We obviously do a Spartacus cast here on
Yeah.
Outpost Unknown, and I'm going to try to get Ronan and Steve onto Black Sails when we're finished up with that, because I don't think that they've seen that show. So
It's a good one.
super cool, super
Well,
cool.
hit me up when that happens, because I might get into. I never went back to it, so this might
Oh
be
yeah.
my excuse.
Well, you're always welcome as long as you're on time.
Ah. See, look at you setting these impossible.
Make you walk the plank. Okay, so let's get into chapter 21 here. The pirates. Set us up.
Yes. All right. Well, this episode opens, of course, on Nevarro, because we are learning if there is an important place in Mandalorian, it's not Tatooine, it's Nevarro, where we have Magistrate Karga magistrating away. He's
Hi, Magistrate Karga.
sorry. And he realizes that there's something afoot when he's clued in when there are screams coming from the town square. Yeah. It turns out, I don't know if you know this, but pirates, they don't like it when you kill a bunch of their friends and punk them in front of the rest of them. Who knew?
And make their pirate lairs all nice and shiny and good for school children.
Oh, right. Yes. Sorry. It took me a second there because that was 2 episodes ago and I have a Swiss cheese memory. But yes. Yeah, they don't care for that. No. So, Karga postures a little, tries to be like, I'm Grief Karga, don't mess with me. And Dorian completely calls his bluff and very quickly, with very few bombs, undoes all the progress that not so high after all Magistrate had put into place.
We find out, obviously, because Grief was looking for a marshal. He wanted a marshal for the town, and they are kind of defenseless here. And this is going to be a running theme, I think, throughout this season, that certainly, but a main sort of narrative thrust of all of these shows we're sort of watching in this time period is the lack of militaries, the lack of law enforcement, and it's just kind of like, well, the pirates are there, and there's nobody to take them down.
Yeah, it turns out it's a lot easier to break shit than it is to run a galaxy-wide, safety net.
Yeah.
Maybe we know now why the New Republic did not last so long. They're
I
not
mean,
doing
all
such a great job.
Palpatine wanted to do is bring order and prosperity to the
Here we
galaxy.
go. Here we go. Here we
He
go.
said it in his Senate speech. I don't know if you remember that, but look, he was trying to do some good things, Rachel.
He said a lot of things. Are we going to start quoting him? Because he said a lot of things. Things about hate and letting it flow through you and whatnot. So from here we go to this unnamed planet, which, by the way, I would need to be the setting of the next spinoff. This is the little like sidetrack that I want, and it is the New Republic sort of I don't know, not under like their little like side area that they go with like they got like an outpost
Yeah.
of some kind, and they got like a cool band going or music going. Out
Yep.
people are playing like space pool and drinking space cold ones and just hanging out. One of which is Captain Carson Teva, who we met, I think, first time last season. I love him. I love this actor. I don't know if you've ever seen Kim's Convenience, but he's adorable in that. He's going to be Uncle Iroh in the live action new Avatar series. I'm very excited about that. So anytime I see him, I get excited. He gets a message from Karga, who, after saying he would never ask for the help of the New Republic, is like hat in hand. He's like,
We don't want
"Please,
another
sir,
bureaucracy.
may I have a bureaucracy, sir?" Like,
Turns
and
out we do need a defense.
yeah, yeah. And then something amazing happens.
Yes.
What happens, Matthew?
Well, a character from Rebels shows up, and I will say here, when I was watching this with my fiance, and we're sitting here watching this, and at first I'm like, no, no, and I look at him like is that Zeb? And then she looks at me and she goes, well, it's if it's not, it's the same species.
Mm-hmm.
But we were sort of talking, so I wasn't really listening to the dialogue that was happening there because we
Uh-huh.
were so focused on like, is that Zeb? It's like, okay, that's the voice. You know, I had to rewind it like that
Uh-huh.
is the voice. It's Zeb. It's Zeb.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio where he's just like pointing at the TV?
Yes.
Okay, now imagine that with more yelling and screaming, and that's what I did when he walked on screen. So I also had to rewind to see if it was
Yeah,
actually Zeb by
because I
voice
wasn't sure.
identification.
I was like, it's gotta be right. It's gotta be. Yes, I was so happy to see this. I was so happy to see this. Because I love that character.
Yes.
I love the character. The whole Rebels crew is great. We
Mm-hmm.
know we're getting Sabine, and I think there's rumors that Mary Elizabeth Winstead's been cast as Hera. Chopper's coming into
Ooh.
live action form. So we've gotten all that, but no one has said anything about Zeb. And then boom,
Yeah.
he's just hanging out at a bar, having a drink.
Yes. I mean, I think you really realize how much you love a character when they show up in another show. You know, like there are very few times where I literally scream at the TV with excitement that somebody showed up, and I'm like, God, I really did invest in these characters. And he's not
Yeah.
even my favorite of the group.
Yeah, and
So,
I like to watch. I don't know if you watch the Screen Crush videos. It's a YouTube channel,
mm-mm.
Screen Crush. Ryan Airy. He after all of these episodes, he always does these really deep dive breakdowns of the stuff. And he
Oh,
made a really interesting comment about how this is, in his words, the best type of cameo. Where
yes.
if you're someone who has no idea who Zeb is, this is just
Right.
another alien that this guy's talking to in a bar. But for the
Mm-hmm.
people who know this character and love this character, it's like, oh, and he looks so cool too. I
Yes.
thought he looked
I think it
really
looks
good.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is exciting, right? I think this episode, what it does is it shows it is kind of the best of both worlds. Like there's amazing, puppetry and live action stuff and practical effects, and then Zeb shows up and he looks freaking great, which
Yeah.
makes me excited that they can actually take these characters from animated form and move them into live action in a way that makes them feel very realized and
Yeah.
expressive.
They
Uh,
kind of did this with Cad Bane in Book of Boba Fett. They're starting to
mm-hmm.
bring, and I thought for I had problems with the whole storyline of Cad Bane in that, but I thought he looked cool. I know there was a lot of people complaining like, well, his hat's not big enough. I'm like, come
Oh
on,
Lord.
give me a break. Stop with the toxicity. Like, can't you just be happy that you get a
Right.
cool looking Cad Bane in live action?
Yeah,
Um,
and Amidala is not a lollipop head. It's called stylized art.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so I was just so happy, and I'm like, he's wearing like whatever his vest is, it has like the New Republic like logo on it or
Yeah.
something. And so I'm just like, oh, is this the Rangers of the New Republic? Is this what we could have
Yeah.
gotten
Or
had
might
it?
still get. You
Maybe
never
still.
know.
Maybe still. I mean, I think when does Star Wars Celebration's coming up very, very soon. So I
Mm-hmm.
would imagine they're going to announce all sorts of stuff. But that's one I'm hoping that they revive if they had plans for that to
I
really
mean,
revive it.
do we really need Cara Dune for it? I don't think so. Like that, the thing about Star Wars is that the deck is it's so deep. Like you can pull so many amazing characters out. We've got the All American Jedi. We could pull him in because we know he survived. Uh, Give Fennec Shand something to do. She teamed up with Cara Dune. Why not recruit her and give her something good to do instead of that Book of bullshit, Boba Fett bullshit? Like, there's plenty of ways we could still have that without Cara Dune. She is
Oh yeah,
non-essential.
yeah. And I would not be opposed. I like the Cara Dune character. I think the character is cool. If they
Yeah.
wanted to recast her with somebody else, I would be
Mm-hmm.
okay with it. So I think you could still do,
Sure.
the Cara Dune character in there. I just want something with that. I want to see Zeb and them going on like crazy ventures in X-wings
Yes.
and stuff like
Yes.
that, and trying to, because they mentioned in this episode that like Gorian Shard is like, look, they can't, the New Republic can't even protect the Mid Rim. I mean, the pirate nation. Like, what the fuck is the pirate
I
nation?
know. I want to
I
know.
want to see Zeb fighting pirates. That's all I want in my life right now. So
Yeah.
give it to me. Give it to me. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, I feel like terrible for not even knowing this. Star Wars Celebration is this weekend.
Is it? I
April.
mean, I
It's
knew
April
that.
7th through 10th. I wasn't even paying attention. The date just snuck up on me. So there's probably going to be a lot of big news this weekend.
Yeah, I suspect there'll be an emergency episode if
There might
nobody's
be. Yeah.
listening.
There might
Because
have
we're
to
going to
be.
have to put this energy somewhere because we're going to be freaking out. Okay, so picture this. Cut to a Bacta tank, right? Just bubble, 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 bubble. And out emerges some badass looking lady. Buff, cool. Turns out it was Cara Dune. They had to heal her after some terrible, like, star crash situation. That's how you do it, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
It would redeem the character and also back to tanks.
Yes. Yes, for
Not
sure.
every time you see a back to tank is it a bummer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What
Okay.
if it's Cara Dune, but like she got decapitated, but they just put like a robot head on her? So you could have
Okay.
like any actress in there now. Now it's just like robot head Cara Dune.
I mean, I could get into it.
I've never seen that in Star Wars. I don't think
There's
mods. We gotta get them Boba Fett modders up on the job,
right.
on the case.
Get the little frick guys on it. They could do something. That's what they'll do with IG's head.
Oh jeez.
There was a reason that they had that whole scene. I swear it was because they were setting up the big
I want
Dune
IG
twist.
and Cara together again.
So yeah, so this is pretty great. We get a little bit about like Zeb's just like, oh, I'm disappointed to hear about Nevarro. I really hope that they would make it. And I don't know, it's just kind of a good little character moment. Like we talk about wanting more of those in Mandalorian and kind of getting a little hint of where he's been at and kind of who he has become in the rebellion, I think is a fun little character beat that I was excited to see.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to explore more of what Zeb's been up to in like maybe the Ahsoka series or something. I imagine he's going to pop up in that.
Right?
They wouldn't just put this little tease here and then never use him again. But I like the fact that it's basically everything's over, right? But
Yeah.
he's still out there fighting the good fight,
Mm-hmm.
which intrigues me.
Yeah.
Because most people don't even realize the Empire is still around. They just kind of think
Right.
they hear rumors, but it's just kind of like, they're not that big of a threat. But they're still obviously Pirate Nation.
Yep. There's still Pirate Nation. Also, remains very skeptical of the powers that be because he's like, yeah, they're not going to answer you if you send a
Yeah,
message to Coruscant,
yeah.
which leads Teva to head to everyone's favorite place, Coruscant. Fanboys, are you mad yet? Are you mad yet? We're back in Coruscant, y'all.
Yay, Coruscant.
Where we meet Colonel Tuttle in a fun bit of stunt casting. He is played by the Tim Meadows, who is perfect as a bureaucrat. And he would just love to help Teva and Navarro out, but dang it, they just don't have the resources.
No, don't got the resource. They're decommissioning everything, right? He's so busy decommissioning all of this stuff that could help and protect people.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, he's so great in this and these little comedic beats, because
Yeah.
of course, it doesn't help that Elia Kane, who we know is evil from that episode that the fanboys were butthurt about, but that actually was awesome, is not a great influence, and she's in there kind of pushing and like giving him the permission structure to just be like, oh, they're not a member of the New Republic.
Yeah, they haven't signed the
Ooh,
charter yet. I mean, they're
ooh,
not
mm.
worthy of our support and our help.
Ugh, but I do love this tension between Teva and Elia, where he's just like,
Oh, he knows she's bad news right away.
yeah, he's like, that's imperial thinking. I was like, yeah, get her, Teva. Although she is my girlfriend, so don't be too mean. So yeah, I like this scene a lot because I think if you have any question where Filoni lands on bureaucracy, this scene, it says it all.
Yes.
It says it all. Like the levels of incompetency and the fact that he's not willing to requisition what they need. And here's Elia Kane, who's like, the paperwork passed muster, it's fine. But they have like a spy right there in the room and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah,
just,
and if there was one criticism I would have of Star Wars right now, this sort of age of storytelling that they're doing, like post Jedi and the New Republic trying to sort of rebuild itself, is I don't think they've done a very good through line explaining to sort of like the normie average Star Wars fan exactly what's wrong, like why this is all bad, like why this bureaucracy is really failing. Like
right.
they explain, oh well, yeah, we see in, what is it, the Bad Batch, oh we're going to decommission everything, and maybe an offhand comment in Mandalorian, we're decommissioning 90% of everything,
Right.
but they don't really say the why, right? Because I know some people who are just like, well, why? Why would you just decommission 90% of your military when you just had used them to take out an empire, and there's clearly still bad stuff out there? And I think that's probably the one failing that they're doing right now is
Mm.
they're telling us this is happening, but they're not explaining why it's happening.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I wonder if that's to come, like they're laying groundwork. But you're right, if they don't ever get back to explaining it, that is going to be a problem.
Like, I know why. Like,
The Mon
hardcore
Mothma
hardcore
stuff,
Star Wars
right?
fans know why. It's that Mon Mothma wanted to demilitarize everything. They did not want a centralized military for the New Republic, because that's sort of, it
Mm.
led to the rise of the Empire, and Palpatine used this centralized military to basically genocide the galaxy. So her thinking was, we're going to decommission everything. We're not going to have this. We're basically going to be a republic. Each planet can kind of, you could raise your own military if you want, but we're not going to have a centralized, fleet that quote unquote protects the galaxy. That decision comes back to haunt
Hmm.
them, obviously.
Do you think that there's a chance the problem, and this is a larger problem, is that is something that is a plot point in Andor?
No, 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 because I don't think we're not gonna get there in Andor,
Mm.
because Andor, they haven't even, that's just the beginnings of the rebellion.
Yeah.
So we almost need like a Mon Mothma show, an Andor-like show that's set after the events of Return of
Right.
the Jedi, when they're all building this up, and then you sort of see like, oh, okay, this was a terrible idea. It's one of those things where, the concept is sound. The
Yeah.
concept is, okay, we just came through this. It was awful. It was terrible. Bad people utilized this to kill literally billions of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. So let's not have a military. And then these shows are sort of showing, well, if you don't have any real enforcement of anything or anybody to protect anybody, then you're going to have like the Gorian shards who are going to show up, and you're going to have the Moff Gideons running around the galaxy doing what they want, because they know there's nobody to really enforce anything, and they can kind of get away with it. So it's like, I understand the concept, but it was a bad choice.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, this show is trying to do a lot of things, though,
Yeah.
and that might be another thing that I think we'll reassess at the end of the season how well it did. But it is really telling these like three or four parallel stories. Like, yes, the Grogu Din stuff seems to have, at least for the time being, kind of stalled out. Like that story's kind of resolved, but it really does seem to be trying to do backfill on why the New Republic lasted for such a short time. Like,
And you know what show would have been great to explore all this in? Rangers of the New Republic.
uh-oh.
No, I'm dead serious because
Yeah.
that is all about, the military of the New Republic, what is
Mm.
left and what is happening to them, and you could have shown their whole struggle with, and you
Mm.
could have had all of this, the actual soldiers, fighting against the bureaucracy and not allowing them to do it. Instead, they're putting all of that stuff in the Mandalorian, and I
Mhm.
don't think the people who love the Mandalorian, the first two seasons, are
Yeah.
here for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean there is some fair criticism in there. I mean, when you're using sort of your flagship live action show to launch all the other ones, it can really muddy the water.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I mean, that's not to say that there isn't a lot of the fun stuff that Mandalorian is known for in this episode because after
Sure.
this, well, first of all, we got to set up the last act. So, Teva, he realizes he's not getting any help. He explains like, "You're there's a problem here. There's something going on. I feel it. I know it, and you're not going to believe it till it's too late." So, he takes it into his own hands. He follows, the signal of his friend R5 back to the Mandalorian covert where to meet with Din Djarin. He doesn't receive the warmest of welcomes.
The Mandalorians don't like the New Republic
No,
either.
no, 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 no. I thought Big Daddy Vizsla was about to take him out. But he fills Mando in on what's going on with Karga and tells him, he thinks the Empire's growing. He's like, that's not your problem. Don't worry about it. We'll deal with it on the spinoff. But you need to go help your boy. So the Mandos have a Mando meeting. Twist, even Vizsla's on board.
I have the conch.
This is the way, that whole rousing speech. I was like, okay. Bo takes command again because she's a Banff. I know people have criticisms, but I can't see them. I think she's perfect and I love her. Uh,
I
and
love Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan's great.
she's great. And this episode, I mean, I'm kind of excited where this one ends up because I feel like we've got some really interesting tracks that we're following. One of which has to do with Bo. But right away, I feel like we're seeding some of that here because she immediately takes control and lays out the plan to divide and conquer, distract the air assault, and get down on the ground and start, like the pirates are down there pirating. So, get down there and fight with them. So it works for the most part. We get some great space battle stuff. We get some more Vane, like, I'm going to get you Mandalorian stuff.
The effects are great. I mean, they're like feature film quality effects that they're doing on the show right now.
Honestly, this whole section, I know you're gonna have criticisms. You've tipped your hand a little bit on the previous episode, but I found this section to be quite fun. And you forget, like you said, it feels theatrical level in terms
Yeah.
of the action sets and scenes and set pieces. That's what I'm looking for. I really enjoyed all this. We get kind of an Aliens reference with them like drop shipping out.
Yeah.
Will not be the last Aliens reference of the episode.
Looks awesome. Like, here's the thing. Like, obviously they're gonna fight and all that stuff, but I love this whole sequence. Now that
Mm-hmm.
might surprise you. I had a ton of fun with this whole sequence. What I'm disappointed with is the the stupidity that characters have to be written as in order for, you know, moments to happen or plot to move forward.
Yeah.
Because like there's a sequence in here when the Mandalorians, I mean, they're badasses, right? They're just taking down these pirates in here, but they get quote unquote cornered in an alley. And Big Daddy Vizsla, it's only there so that Big Daddy Vizsla can show up and shoot his Gatling gun. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense logically that these Mandalorians who have jet packs can't use them to fly up and shoot down. It's the
Yeah.
same thing that Jon Favreau did in Book of Boba Fett when Boba Fett's surrounded by 10 dudes and they're pressing up on him and he's getting beat to shit. I'm like, use your fucking jetpack and fly up and shoot down. And I'm like, I think that's just terrible writing. It's
Mm-hmm.
terrible writing. Now, the overall idea of what they're doing is cool. I
Yeah.
have no problem with that, but some of the execution, I'm like, this is lazy screenwriting, John. It's lazy screenwriting. Like, come on. Somebody had to tell him, dudes, don't put the Mandalorians, anybody with a jetpack, you got to come up with a new way. You got
Yeah.
to come up with a new way in which they're not sort of pinned down.
Yeah. I was thinking when I was watching again if it was the scene where there is actually somebody with like a space Gatling gun like shooting down at them, but you're right, there is a beat before that, before they get that gun going, and I agree with you in that reference. Yeah, but we do get to see the armorer be a straight up badass,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. It's not the first time I've seen her fight with her tools, but this is definitely a more extended sequence of her doing it, and it gave me everything I needed to the point where I didn't care about any of the plot holes. I
Yeah,
just want to watch her kick ass with those
I love
tools.
that. I don't think we've ever seen her shoot a blaster ever.
No.
She only uses these like this amazing like Beskar armor to crack skulls, and it's awesome. It's so awesome.
It's so good. It's so good when she
How
just
did she get
throws
there?
it.
I don't know how she got there, but she showed up. She was there somehow.
By being a badass. I feel like there's a sequence of her just like fighting her way up, just taking people out right
Yeah,
and
I
left.
want to see it.
Same.
Give me a
Same.
Daredevil type fight, a hallway fight with the armorer. I mean, come on now.
Oh my god, you're right. I didn't know how badly I needed that until you just said that. Oh my god. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So, of course, our good guys get the upper hand, and, Shard realizes when they've taken out all of his engines and everything, like, oh, this is not going well. So he's going to go down with the ship, but he's going to take out as many people as he
Yarr.
can. Yeah. This is like a little thing, but I love when he takes command and he goes up and you realize that the controls are a wheel.
Yes.
It's just such a cool thing that the Corsair has a wheel.
Yeah, and did you notice that his little right hand man, whatever,
Uh-huh.
the species that Quill was, I can't remember off the top of my head
Uh-huh.
what they're called, but he's dressed like Smee from like
Yes!
from like Hook or
Yes!
something like that. It's a little. I mean, yes, is it a little corny? Yes, but it works for
I
what they're
don't
trying to do.
care.
I loved
don't
it.
care. I loved I mean R.I.P. Rest in power, Gorian. He was super rad. I loved the design of the character. I loved the performance. The actor's voice acting is great. Just when he's like running around the ship being puppeted, it's so Henson-y. I just loved it. And I was honestly just sad that we're not going to get more of him.
He got
Although
such little screen time. It was so
I,
sad.
I know.
I don't care about Vane. They should have let him get away. I understand he's got to go down with the ship. He's the
Yeah.
pirate captain, but come on, come up with a better
Yeah.
way.
I'm guessing maybe we'll see more of his kind at some point because I
There's a
don't think
whole pirate nation out there.
exactly, and I know for sure we're gonna see Vane again because he's just like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
you're losing, bye.
So the running theory that's going around right now is that the pirate nation is working with Thrawn to help
Yeah,
Thrawn sort of pacify a lot of stuff. So we might see Vane going back to talk to good old Grand Admiral Thrawn.
ooh, and I feel like Thrawn is not gonna receive him well. Which will be
Probably not.
very delicious. He'll like very calmly give him a very bad day, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to
Yeah.
it. um, yeah. So the Mandos now have a new home on Nevarro. They've got to come out of the sewers and be heroes into the light, which is very meaningful for them because they are essentially refugees, even though we know the only thing that is ever really going to matter to them is Mandalore.
Yeah, yeah, but I love this whole aspect of it because part of the thing when they're holding the conch, which is the armor's like a badass Beskar hammer, and they're trying to
Yeah.
pitch this idea because I love that Mando can't just be like, all right guys, let's go help my friend.
Right.
He's got to convince them. He's got to make his pitch, and then even with Bo-Katan, he's like, well, what happens now? He's like, it's up to them. Like it's up to them. It's
Yeah.
not like he's like, well, I'm going to bring them. And I sort of love that whole thing where even Big Daddy Vizsla is like, look, man, we need a place. Like we can have a home. We can have a home where we have
Yeah.
land. We can do whatever we need to. It's gonna be great. And then Grief Karga, I love because I was always like a little concerned. It's like he's gonna turn bad guy again. Like is Grief gonna
Yeah.
be? Is he? I don't want him to turn bad. And I love that he was like they're received as heroes of
Yeah.
Nevarro, essentially. Like, yeah, you can have all this land, and then they immediately say they don't want it. They want to go back to Mandalore. Which I'm like, really?
Well, speaking of plans to retake Mandalore, there's two more scenes, but the second to last scene here, our penultimate scene, is the armorer calling Bo to meet with her at the Old Forge, and the two of them reminisce about the Great Forge of Mandalore, which, by the way, I was like, that's definitely the third Kree sister. That's definitely the third Kree sister.
Gotta be right. But why would she know her? Maybe, gosh, I was like, why wouldn't she recognize her voice? Or do you think
Hmm.
her voice is just sort of changed via the helmet or something?
I also feel like she's maybe putting on a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I we'll see. We'll see. But I do think whereas some of the other Mandalorians now we know that they did not start on Mandalore, they have a connection to the like the it holds like a lot of reference for them, but she clearly is from Mandalore.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what family, what clan she was a member of. I don't know. I've fully bought into this conspiracy theory. I don't know why I'm saying I don't know because I've decided I know. Um, but she basically, um, sorry. So she tells like there's this kind of this great metaphor that happens around the forges where she talks about how they serve the same they're both forges even though they're different, but they serve the same purpose, they have the same sort of importance. And she's really talking about is Bo herself and how she may be different from the children of the night, children of the watch, but that she can still serve a really important purpose, and tells her to take off her mask. And I actually love this scene. I don't know, you
Well,
were starting to say something.
well, I was gonna say, what did you think when the armor said take off your mask? Because did you think like is she like trying to trick her here and see like is she gonna follow orders? Because she mentioned she's like you respect my position, and Bo-Katan's like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
take off your mask. Um, I guess if you were put in that position, if you're Bo-Katan right there, and you know what this covert is all about, and you know everything a Mando had to go through, what are you thinking right now when the armor tells you take your mask off, just
I
willy nilly,
mean,
right in front of you, take it off?
I thought she was about to eject her from their clan. Like I was that she was going to be like, "Yeah, you're not one of us." And I think that's what Bo was afraid of too, because she finally like found somewhere. I think she had been very
Yeah.
adrift for a minute, and she had found community again. And she's like such a pack animal. I think that's what she was terrified of, like basically being exposed and not good enough to be a member of this group.
Yeah,
And I
you
was
see
worried
that
that was the
moment too,
case.
and I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Katie Sackhoff who was in the costume or if it was a stunt double, but you actually see that just the way like whoever's in the suits are doing an amazing job. I think you said this on the last Mando
Yeah.
episode we did, or just being able to convey emotion when you can't see their faces at all. It's really a sort of like a thesis on how you can actually
Mm-hmm.
convey just body language. And there's that great moment where she just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like looks down and kind of shifts like whoa 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 like
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do this like but the
Right.
basically essentially the leader of this covert is telling me to do it, so what am I supposed to do here?
Right.
I thought she was going to say no. I thought she was going to be like, no, I'm one of you. I was actually
Right.
kind of surprised that she took her helmet off.
Right. Like maybe it was a test kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's what my
Mm.
initial thought was.
Yes. Well, it turns out I mean, this is great because we actually get a little bit inside the armorer's head, which we do not get to do. She took the news that Bo had seen a Mythosaur so calmly that you kind of didn't really know where she was with that. Like we had our assumptions, but we find out that actually did really impact her. That she now sees Bo as sort of like a chosen one.
Yep.
She's the one because she saw the Mythosaur. She was chosen to be the one to finally reunite all the clans of Mandalore again. And Bo looks pretty shook, and I don't blame her considering her history.
Why do you think the armor just believes her? Because the armor doesn't. Well, I guess if we go through the conspiracy, that yes, she probably does know her if it is her sister or whatever.
Right.
But let's assume for now that the armor doesn't really know Bo-Katan. Why? She's from a different covert, very different values. She walks in. She's like, I saw the Mythosaur. The armor is smart enough to know that Bo-Katan has wanted to rule
Yeah.
Mandalore. She knew all about Bo-Katan fucking up with the dark saber and leading to the Night of a Thousand Tears and all of that. I think it was in
Mm-hmm.
the Book of Boba Fett. She kind of blames Bo-Katan for destroying Mandalore in Book of Boba Fett. But here, like she sort of I believe you. It just like sort of maybe it's because she's one of them now. Or I don't know. How do you read that? Or do you think it's just bad bad writing on the part of Jon
I
Favreau.
I don't know that I think it's bad writing. I think that, she maybe is someone who can read people well and just was convinced. We don't see what happens between that conversation and this conversation. And we know that she's not just the armorer, and not just a leader. She seems to kind of be sort of the like mystical sort of character
Yeah.
in that. And so maybe she like consulted the living waters. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Love to see that in a show about the armor.
Yeah, right. The infinite possibilities of spinoffs, and yes, I will take them all. So yeah, I think I loved Katie Sackhoff's performance here and in
Yeah.
this next scene where she goes out and she walks among all of these Mandalorians without her mask, and you can see again this speaks to the ability to emote and perform in these masks. Like, you see the discomfort and the confusion in just the body language of these people.
Yeah.
A slow nod says so much.
Because we don't even see what's really happening at first. We just see
Right.
kind of like from behind, like a low angle shot, sort of from behind them as they're walking. And at first, it was just kind of like, oh, because I didn't know that they were going. I did not expect that she was going to walk out in front of all of the Mandalorians without the
Right?
helmet on. I did not. I wasn't expecting that at all. And then it's just kind of like, holy shit, this is a big deal for them.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Katie
I mean,
Sackhoff looks great too. I mean, just the look on her face. She looks kind of terrified. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna lose my family here. Is that what's happening?
Hmm. I mean, it's interesting to see that I think there's this idea that they're so dogmatic that they're unable to be practical, but to see that in this case the armor is like, no, 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 I cannot send someone who won't take their mask out in order to proselytize the need to come back together, all the clans. I need somebody who can exist in that middle ground. That level of practicality flies in the face of everything we've learned about the Mandalorians and about the armorer herself, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, and I also think what's interesting is the covert they kind of go along with. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no real questioning of it, right?
Yeah.
I think that shows to like the respect that they all have for the armorer. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
because she's like, look, we have to bring everyone together. We have
Yeah.
to bring them all together, and we can't do it if we can't take our masks off. So I think she says that she's walked in both worlds or whatever.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a child of both worlds now, and whatnot. And I think Din's kind of like, yeah, man, great. That's
Yeah.
that's a load off my shoulders. Let her go ride the
Yeah.
Mythosaur. That's fine.
Right? I mean, I think that we all assumed that they were setting up some rivalry between Bo and Den because he has
Yeah.
the dark saber, and that may come back. I don't know, but it never felt right to me because I just don't feel like that's who Den is. Like, he doesn't have those kinds of ambition. He is a lone wolf for the most part. She is someone who is a leader and a pack leader. Like, that
Yeah.
is what drives her, and to switch those felt weirdly disingenuous to me. So I kind of am excited that they're finding ways to maybe make that plot line work a little bit
Yeah.
better.
I
I don't know.
I think that my prediction for this is Din and Bo are no longer going to fight. I think I
Nah.
think I think Din is going to lose the dark saber in battle to somebody else, and then Bo is going to take it from them. I don't think
Ooh.
that, like, well, we're gonna obviously tease who's still out there right now.
Yeah.
But Screen Crush did this really interesting thing. At the very beginning of all of these episodes, where
Mhm.
it shows the various different characters, like different
Yeah,
Star
the
Wars
helmets.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Every time it shines blue, it's a good character. It's a good guy. And every time
Yeah.
it's red, it's a bad
Yeah.
guy, like Darth
Uh-oh.
Vader or whatever. They paused it on this episode at the very beginning because there's a red Mandalorian helmet in the beginning of this, at the opening of this episode, and they're like, "Who is this? What? Like, why is this Mandalorian helmet red? That would signify that they're a bad guy of some sort. Now, who is it? Don't know." But I would imagine that something is going to happen where Din will lose it.
What was the clan that sided with the Empire? Do you remember there was one?
Oh
Hold on,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
googling.
yeah.
The Saxon clans.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's a Saxon. Now I
Well,
want to go.
well,
Okay,
well.
now I have to totally like deep dive on
This
this.
tees up the big finale here. What does our boy Carson find?
Oh, yes. Okay, so again, I hinted that there would be another aliens reference in this, and we have reached that portion of the episode. So, last but not least, the Nostromo, oops, Carson's ship comes across a derelict spacecraft floating in the abyss, and of course, it turns out to be Moff Gideon's prison transport. And he sends in a probe droid to see what's going on in there. It does the full alien sweep
Yeah.
and discovers lots of dead bodies, no Moff Gideon, but embedded in one of the walls, Beskar shrapnel.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So
So
they're
I
like,
know.
the Mandalorians took Gideon?
I mean, it's possible that it's not Mandalorians. I mean, the Empire got their hands on a shit ton of Beskar, as we know, because the very first episode of this entire show is the Empire trying to pay Din with Beskar.
And Luke Skywalker chopped his way through many, many
Yeah.
Beskar built
Yeah,
droids.
that's true. That is those. So those are confirmed to be Beskar. Okay.
It's
Okay.
supposedly a Beskar alloy. So it's not
Aha.
pure Beskar, which is why he is, in
Mm.
story reasons, why he could chop through them with his lightsaber.
Aha. Aha. I see. Well, I mean, here's the thing. We were kind of bummed when things seemed to get resolved between Bo and Big Daddy Vizsla so quickly. We're like, but no, this is not the Mandalorians. The fight. That's what they do. That's what we want. Sounds like maybe we are still gonna get that infighting that we've been craving.
Maybe, because obviously Bo's out now. She's probably gonna go to the Night Owls. She's gonna tell them, hey, we got some land on
Yeah.
Nevarro. You guys can come back, or I saw the Mythosaur.
Right.
Follow me now. So she's gonna go out, out and about. I think that we're probably gonna get. I don't know what's coming up on this next episode, but what I imagine
Whoa.
it's going to be is sort of not Bo-Katan focused. It's going to be more sort of Mando focused and what's going on with him and Grogu and all of that. But yeah, I don't know. I've also seen theories that Moff Gideon might have planted it to make the New Republic believe that the
Mm.
Mandalorians did that, so that the New Republic would then go after the Mandalorians. So
Mm.
machinations there by Moff Gideon. I don't know. I don't know, and that's what I loved about this episode. It's like finally I feel like we have things to get excited for.
Yeah.
Like, okay, where's the story going now? It took 5 episodes really to get there, but I really feel like now I'm like, okay, I can see the things, the pieces coming together, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I feel like we're moving towards something. I can't believe we're already 5 episodes in. I
I
just
know.
sent you a picture of Gar Saxton's helmet. This thing looks it reminds me of something.
Oh yeah, that's the Darth Maul guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Armor's got some horns on her helmet.
That's what I'm alluding to. Like, I wonder if we're gonna find out that maybe she isn't a Kreese. Maybe she's a Saxon.
Yeah, but it's now the actual helmet on the intro, whatever, does not have any horns on it. But I wouldn't expect them to put horns on it because that would be
Yeah.
incredibly obvious if they did something like that. Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
but and I told Alyssa it was funny because I was like, have you noticed in all of these Star Wars shows, whether it's Bad Batch or Andor or whatever, when they have that opening sort of Star Wars intro where they're showing all the different, they pop in different characters in there all the time, different characters. It's never the same thing over and over and over again. And yeah, I was watching that Screen Crush video. And it's like, yeah, there's a red Mandalorian helmet in here.
I see. I
What's
want to
that all
look at
about?
it and see if the patterns match this Saxton, even without the horns. Like, I wonder if the patterns match.
I don't know.
I know what I'm doing after this.
Yeah. So I overall I think this is probably one of the better episodes
Oh
this
yeah.
season. I really like this. I love the action. I wish we could get more of like the pirates, and but that's me being very selfish, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're telling me there's a pirate nation out there. Why wasn't the season sort of about that? Like, why can't Gordon Shard be the main throughway villain? Because there really is no villain this season. If you really think about it, there's no like, hey, I'm the bad guy and I'm sort of plotting, and we see the bad guy doing stuff from episode to episode. It's just kind of, you know, a general non-antagonistic sort of journey. You might see some monsters here and there, but I want a bad guy to tie it all together. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett would have been great. They should have introduced Cad Bane in episode 1, and then Cad
Yeah.
Bane was sprinkled throughout the every episode, building
Mm-hmm.
up to that, rather than like the penultimate episode, then boom, he's allegedly dead.
I agree. I
Um,
would have a harder time being critical of that show though if Cad Bane was in it. I'd be like,
yeah.
the scooters were awesome.
So I wish that they, and that's probably my biggest criticism with Jon Favreau as a storyteller in Star Wars. It's like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of cohesion with a lot of this stuff. But it's still good. This episode was good. I liked it quite a bit.
Me too. I had a really good time with this one. I feel like it manages to bring so many of the elements that make Star Wars fun into it. And it finally feels like it has a direction. It has like a very specific direction. I love the weird political bureaucracy takedown. So while I agree with some of the criticisms of it, I don't mind when we delve into that at all. This was a pretty close to ideal episode of Mandalorian, which is surprising because it is very Grogu light.
Yeah,
And I think we would have argued that that was an essential ingredient in the show
it has
previous to
been
the season.
well, it has been pretty Grogu light the entire season. Like
Yeah.
there's Grogu's in it, but it's just not what people sort of thought, which makes the argument even stronger that they should not have resolved the Din Grogu thing in the Book of Boba Fett and immediately went into this.
Yeah.
People would have 100% been on board with Grogu's off with Luke Skywalker. We know what he's doing. We don't even need to see him that often. We know what he's doing with Luke Skywalker. He's training, right? Set all of this stuff up with Din. He's on his own. He can help out a lot more. He's not with Grogu, and we don't need to do all this
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian training. You just do a deep dive on all of this Mandalorian lore and the politics that are going on, and then get to the point where
Yeah.
Grogu comes in, maybe at the finale or something of the season, as Grogu makes his choice. Sprinkle him in with Luke throughout the season here and there, but
Yeah.
that would have been a much better way to tell this story.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it reeks of greed in a way that makes
Yes.
it kind of unpalatable. And I don't like to be, I like to just celebrate the Star Wars and, be honest in my opinions of it. But I don't like to feel the icky tendrils of capitalism
Well, it's
in my Star Wars.
but that's so weird though, because like that position I think would make more sense if we were getting Grogu, Grogu, Grogu. But
Yeah.
it seems like they resolved the story,
Mm-hmm.
but are not even really utilizing. Grogu's a bit part in this, like we said,
Yeah.
he's not even necessary really for the telling of what they're doing here. So
Mm-hmm.
why is he here? Have a
Yeah.
have a 4 episode spin-off series, Grogu and Luke, the Force training adventures.
Yeah.
There, you could give people let people have their Grogu there, because who would not watch
Yeah.
4 episodes of Grogu and Luke training in the ways of the
I
Force?
mean, talk about hitting all your demos.
I mean, come on, Lucasfilm. I mean, we're right here. I mean, we're giving these ideas away for free.
That
It's
is a 4 quadrant answer right there.
I mean, it's too late now, but
Yeah, yeah.
but,
No, you're right.
but cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, everyone. We will be back soon. I think
Yeah.
I don't know what this next episode is going to be called, but I'm excited to see. Are we actually going to get to see Moff Gideon at any point this season? Here's one question I'll end this on. I'll ask you.
Yes.
The season has been moving very fast
Yes.
through various things.
Yes.
Is Bo-Katan going to ride the Mythosaur at the end of this season, 3 episodes from now? Ride the Mythosaur and unite all of
God.
Mandalore in this season.
God, I hope not. It's only 3 episodes left. God, I hope not. I feel like no. I think she's gonna show up with maybe some more Mandalorians at the end of this. Like maybe we are gonna see Moff Gideon. He's the one that gets his rematch against Din and bests him this time.
Well, he
And
beat Bo-Katan. So we
Right.
know, because they said that Moff
Right.
Gideon beat Bo-Katan in battle and took the Darksaber from her. So I can't
Right.
see Din having any shot against Moff Gideon in a fight.
No. So I'm thinking she's gonna show up at the end with like a few new Mandalorians, like maybe a bunch more Mandalorians, and reclaim the dark saber, maybe. But no, I don't. If they wrap this in 3 episodes, I'm gonna Steve.
Oh, well, let's not go that far.
Yeah, I know you're right. That's I talk big shit right now, but the minute trailer for season 4 comes out, I'm gonna be back in.
Never go full Steve, Rachel. You never go full
never
Steve.
Go full Steve.
You never go full Steve.
God, I wish he listened to the show.
So with that, everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of Nobody's Listening here on Outpost Unknown. Check back because we're going to have a bunch of stuff coming up. Of course, we got more episodes of The Bad Batch that we're going to drop. I'm very excited for Rachel to watch episodes 15 and 16 of that through the tiers. And, of course, we will have more episode 6 of Mando. And, of course, if something crazy happens at Star Wars Celebration this weekend, we will more than likely have... we got to hit that algorithm. So if something happens, Rachel, we got to jump on that quickly in order to, get them likes and them subscribes.
All right. If you need me to hop on, hit me in the texts, and I'll hop on with you.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Bye, everybody.